my childhood in relationships as a teenager.
Okay.
So breath work, I did like a whole 9 month cycle of rebirthing in Venezuela, and that was that.
How old were you?
I was 15.
What? You
love me more now.
Oh my god, I'm like, there's no... Welcome back, guys, to Aligned with Me. I'm here with a very special friend of mine, Dani, aka the Joy Alchemist. A beautiful friend, a beautiful conscious guide. She is someone that I look up to, especially when it comes to coming back to self, coming back to joy, being who you are, dancing, smiling, creating, existing as beautifully as she does. And this session is going to be very special because we've known each other now for a while. And we worked together at some point, and we get our certain emotions together. So I think it's beautiful. I would love for you to introduce yourself.
Of course. Thank you for that intro. So beautiful. Well, my name is Daniela, the Joy Alchemist. I am a holistic coach and guide, and my expertise is guiding people to reconnect with their own truth and their own way of being and become experts in themselves. My way of coaching is not to make people dependent on coaching services, rather than you find your own set of tools as I guide you so that you can really live the life that you want to live and that you're meant to live.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
So today I would like to start off with kind of, if you were to open yourself up a little bit and talk about how you first started coming into a more conscious lifestyle. Like what was the first moment that you started to come into your awakening, that you wanted to start like working on yourself and actually doing the work?
That was a very long time ago. I'm like thinking, because there's so many awakenings,
There's
right? So many deaths and rebirths
all the time.
The first time that I started with holistic anything, I was probably 14 years old.
Okay.
It was very young, because I had to, like, my childhood was very traumatic.
Okay.
And it was the only way I could survive. It was either that or becoming numb with drugs and alcohol, like one of my family members did. So that's when I started, and since then I have not stopped. Literally.
Wow. 14.
And I'm 43.
Oh my god, and she looks my age.
That's the good life.
It's, oh my gosh, but it's so beautiful. I think that the more that we work on ourselves and the more that we create that alchemy of joy, we stay young.
I agree.
Like, happiness keeps us so young. Mm-hmm. And knowing how to come back to our happiness, which is so important. Coming into your awakening, what would you say was one of your most important teachers in the beginning? Because they always change.
It always changes.
It always changes.
The beginning was rebirthing, like conscious breath work.
Okay.
That's what helped me release and understand all the patterns that were making me recreate my childhood in relationships as a teenager.
Okay.
So breath work, I did like a whole 9 month cycle of rebirthing in Venezuela, and that was that.
How old were you?
I was 15.
What? You
love me more now.
Oh my god, I'm like, there's no, okay. Oh my god, I'm here like, wait, no. At 15, I did a very big dose of mushrooms.
Okay, I did the mushrooms, but in real life, just a different type, okay?
She's like, I use the actual, like, myself to, because you bring yourself there.
You bring yourself there.
It's such a powerful, it's so powerful. So, okay, you've literally had tools since you were 15.
Yeah.
People don't have tools like that since they're little. That is, Dani, that is so beautiful.
It is.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so... Okay, so now with the Line With Me podcast, I like to always go into everyone's different methods of releasing, relaxing, and restoring. Meaning, the way that we release emotions, the way that we are now going into a more relaxed state and we're calming down. It's like saying that the relaxing is like the trust, right? And then the restoring is now surrendering into action. So whenever you are in a heightened emotion, not excitement, not happiness, but the opposite, where you're just like, you know, you're going through your anxieties, you're going through your fears, sadness, what would you say that is your number one method to first start releasing?
Well, that's an amazing question, and I love to talk about this because then this new Daniela, now at 40 something, discover a new way of releasing that I think is the most effective. For a long time, I was not wanting to feel my emotions, my negative emotions. I was not allowing them to come. So I would take action, and I was doing coffee enemas, detox, infrared sauna, yoga, massage, like just go, run, walk, doing guided meditations, but it was doing. And I was not being with myself. And that happened for a bunch of years. So much that all of that was bottled up.
Of course.
And then I realized, because I didn't know, I'm like, oh, I'm in holistic world. I'm doing all the self-care.
Breathwork since 15.
Exactly. Like, I got this.
Okay.
I don't need to feel anymore. Like, I already felt it and fixed it. Like, it's never that moment that you're done. You know, you always have to go back to your tools and release and emotions. Sometimes the spiritual ego gets to you and you're like, oh, no, I'll just eat my coffee enema and a bath and I'm good. So then with bottling up recently in October, 9 months ago, I started with my first episode of anxiety.
Okay.
Heavy anxiety, body shaking, went to panic. If I didn't know what I know, I would have called 911. That's how scary it was.
Oh.
So I went outside in the yard and I spent probably like 24 hours on a yoga mat. Breathing, because of the anxiety, was so intense. And it was, Daniela, because for me now, anxiety is avoiding the feeling.
Yeah.
Not wanting to feel, not trusting God, not having faith.
Because we're so deeply rooted in the fear. And it's how, like, remember in the sacred space, it said love over fear.
Love over fear.
And it's when you are not in love, you're in fear.
That's it.
That's it.
When you're in anxiety, you're not trusting. So what I learned through this process was to, the actual release of the emotions through breathing. So it's really sitting down, and I learned diaphragmatic breath work, which is you inhale and you expand your belly, your hips, your diaphragm, your waist, like you feel everything expanding, your cavity, your heart, like your chest, all of it. Breathe, and then when you exhale slowly, like the Huyai breath, how do you say it? Huyai breath. It's like a yoga. I really don't know much about all the names, but it's like through the nose, and then when you're exhaling, you're contracting all of it. And then
pruning. It's like raisening the lungs, and then you hold the raisin for a long time, and then you keep doing that breath into the belly. So
an expansion, all like you feel your hip bones.
Do you expand the breath deeply to the point where like you can't breathe anymore? Right.
And then you exhale slowly, and you contract, and then you go back again.
What you made me think, like bringing that breath to the hips, we store so much emotion in the hips.
Everything in the hips and the intestines and your womb, like the digestion, anxiety is there, hormonal balances, all of it.
Everything. Okay. So you would say that your release was the breath work.
Breath work for the anxiety. And sounding. So I started massaging my nervous system, activating the vagus nerve. And that's, you make sounds. You just breathe.
If someone doesn't know what vagus nerve is.
Okay. It's a nerve. I don't know.
Because, if someone was like, you're going to massage
I'm going to tell you. The vagus nerve. So it's a nerve that goes from your throat all the way down to your vagina. Like all the way. It's in the middle of your body. And it's in charge of the nervous system. So we possess their own tool, our own sound healing internally.
Okay, yes.
And it's through
yes.
voice and the
Yes.
sounding. So if you want to say, if you're super stressed out
Mm-hmm.
and your mind is like da, 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 and you cannot stop, you going to the breath work, it's gonna be you can't.
Yeah.
So if you start sounding like humming,
Okay.
or zzz, that releases the mental
I was
craziness.
watching something on like it's called somatic. So,
This is a somatic
okay,
healing, yes.
but I saw, but it was. Is
you
this
can
it?
you can there's so many
You start
within the
pounding
somatic healing, yes.
the chest and you hum.
Yes.
When you're like really going through it and you're like, and I was like, wow, this is okay.
Is that, and there's tapping.
There's tapping.
It just depends what emotion it is. Because if there's sadness, crying is an amazing release. And I allow that. And usually they say that the emotions, which is energy in motion, they last about 12 seconds.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if you have like a high episode of anxiety, maybe 12 seconds to 6 minutes, like it's gonna pass. It's not gonna last
It's
if
'cause
you're present.
Our memory is so short now. And I always say this, and I always go back to, we scroll and we don't even watch longer than like 15 seconds now. Nada.
I know.
And stories will maybe give it 3 seconds. Maybe.
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 And now if anybody's talking, I'm like, okay.
Okay,
pass,
you're like,
pass,
bye,
pass.
bye. And it's like, it's just where we're at as a society, sadly.
Totally.
So, and I bring this back to even when you're feeling uncomfortable with yourself and you're gonna go somewhere, and when you get to that place, you are uncomfortable in your skin. For some reason, you don't like how you look. If anyone notices you in the room and thinks, damn, what is she wearing? They will only think that for like 15 seconds and they will go back to themselves. No, like we don't last in our thoughts for that long. And if you can shift the emotion or shift the thought, but then that's also feel the feeling, feel the sadness, feel the anger, and then try not to divert or numb by thinking about something else.
Right, because it's going to happen what happened to me. At one point, the pressure cooker is going to explode, and it's going to be like an adrenal crisis, and it lasted months for me. I couldn't work, like it was all the way down.
Oh.
So it's the most important thing that I could say. You have to feel your emotions.
You have to feel your emotions.
Feel, go through them, move through them. Anger, punch. I punch pillows, I throw things, I break things, I scream. I don't care.
Oh, like the breaking, like the rooms where you can go in and just have a bat and you start breaking everything.
Yes.
I think there's one in Miami somewhere. I've always wanted to.
That's
go.
crazy. My daughters, we have like all these jars, and I'm like, okay, you're angry, go outside, break it in the cement, you pick it up, but you have to, because it's trapped in there, and if not, it turns into a shadow. Because anger has light and has shadow.
Yeah.
Every emotion has light and shadow. Anger can propel you to take action, to do things, to end relationships, to make a good decision, to set a boundary. But in the shadow, you swallow that, and it will create disease in the body, and it's accumulating, and then one day you'll explode in the most unhealthy way, and
the
you'll
most unhealthy.
hurt
And it's
people.
usually in the. It's like when people are like, "Oh, I don't know, like we broke up for the stupidest reason," and you're like, "Yeah, but how much pent up emotion
were you
holding until the stupidest thing, quote
Triggered.
unquote, triggered it, and you completely had a like explosion on it." So okay, yeah, no, I 100%. Okay, so that is our release.
Our release is sounding and breath work.
Oh, and the vagus nerve. So
The vagus nerve.
do you just, how do you massage that?
The massaging is through the sound.
Oh, the massaging is
this
through the
is
sound.
It's
through
very
the
new.
humming.
It's been out for 2 years. It's somatic healing, like with the humming and the sounding.
Yes.
And there's practitioners in Miami that help you, right?
Okay.
And everywhere in the world. But what you do is the humming.
Okay.
It's the first, you're initiating the stimulating of this part.
Okay.
Then you make a sound through like the heart center, which is and that stimulates this area of the vagus nerve.
Because the opens the heart.
Claro. And you're stimulating because your vocal cords and all the vibration of this area. When you're speaking, sounding, your whole, that nerve that I mentioned is moving. So when it's a melody to it, it's a release. It's, and the body immediately goes into feeling, centering, being. Of course. And then you go into the womb, and then the sounding is more like stronger, like ooh, and then you go to this area of the belly.
Because the lower you go, the lower the tone.
The lower the tone, right.
Sound, it's all like deeper tones at the bottom, and then, you know, if you're gonna work the intuition, you're like
exactly. So that's what you're doing. All those sounds.
Okay.
There's a lot of meditations that I've been recording on YouTube and different places.
Okay.
That massages
what
the nervous
is your
system.
YouTube? The Joy Alchemist?
Yes. I just remember that. Because it was my name and then I changed it. I'm like, yes. So you caught that.
Okay, so we
The
can
Joy
find
Alchemist.
your
meditations.
Okay, your meditate. Okay, amazing.
And
I love
it's
it.
the whole process of massaging the nervous system, and that is what helps me release anxiety, panic.
Yeah.
And even when I'm super overly exhausted or nervous, because even nervous, you don't want to be nervous.
No.
Even if it's good nervous, like no.
No, any kind of nervous is no. It brings you out of who you are.
Right, you're not accessing all that amazing information, the higher self that we have, our essence. You cannot access any of that.
No.
Fight or
not
flight.
with the nerves. Fight or flight.
Claro.
Okay, so then, that was a release. Now, relaxation. I know that a release already kind of comes with a sort of relaxation, but say now you've done the breath, you've done all these things, and now later on in the day, what is your preferred method to now you've released? Now it's like, what is your favorite method to relax?
I like...
That's not numbing.
That's not numbing.
That's
no,
not scrolling on TikTok. That's not scrolling on Instagram. That's not necessarily numbing, but still being present with yourself.
Right. So after the release, sometimes I like a guided meditation to set intention. So after, because when you release, you expand, right? You open up space for more to come in, for all the good that you want. So I do journal, I do guided meditations, like with like voices that walk me through me getting into the clarity of thought of what I want to create that day. That's a very big relaxation part for me. And writing what came through as I expanded through the release, writing down and setting those intentions, you know, like when the meditation, I hear it and then I write it down. I like to read a lot of spiritual books that really help me connect with myself, because the journey is within.
Do you have a book that you're reading right now, or that you've read, I don't know, in the last couple months that you're like, I need to recommend this book?
I do. I have a book that I've owned for like 10 years, and it's my go-to, and it's about 22 angels. So for a week, I get an angel and I study everything about the angel. That right now I'm into the Angel of Cycles and Solutions, and it's by John Randolph Price.
So it's a series of books?
It's just one book.
It's one
and
book.
It's 22 angels, and each angel, it's like a study. So I have a study group with one of my clients, and then every morning we sit down and we, you know, like write down the ideas of reading that page, because it just, you masticate the information, you chew it, you digest it. It's not just I'm gonna read it and that's it. I want to read it, I want to learn, I want to comment, like have comments with you. Do you like it? What do you think? Oh my God, for me it was horrible, for me it was good. And then we learn in that way. So when I read this book, it's just so resonant. It's one of those writers that everything, their belief system about the spiritual world is 100% in resonance with my soul.
Okay.
So I that's what I do. And sometimes I'm more like consistent. I've been consistent since January, like with every angel, and that's what I'm working on.
So it's
with
called
my spiritual
22 Angels by who?
It's called The Angels Within Us.
The Angels Within Us.
And it has 22 angels. It's like a study of all this angelical force, and you know, astrology's in there, and spirituality, Christianity, Christ consciousness. It's fantastic, and it's John Randolph Price.
John Randall Price. I feel like I've seen his name.
You have to. He's like ancient, and
Does
he's
he have
amazing.
any other
I
books?
think the 40-day prosperity book. Have you heard of that one?
No.
He has many books. Jesus codes, the super
40
beings.
days of prosperity.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's all guiding you to self-source because everything is inside.
Everything's inside.
We are our own God.
And it's like every single lesson, everything just, it's all kind of guiding us back to going back to ourselves and who we truly are. I was having a conversation yesterday with a friend and just going through things, and it's like, there's so many lessons. He's like, yeah, I've been to rock bottom so many times, I probably could sign my name on one of the rocks.
I know. And when you're there, you don't remember that you're ever going to come out. When you're rock bottom, you're like, that's it. I'm done.
Well, okay. So, and then I told him, just don't worry, because every lesson is just, it's like trying to guide you back to being, like, coming back to who you are.
Right. And it's an expansion. Like when
It's
every time we come back and we contract and you feel, oh my God, everything is coming back again, it's horrible. It's like you catapult to the next lesson, but from a higher place every time.
I have one of my clients in coaching. She was like, oh my God, Steph, I've just had the most incredible week. Everything is going good. My life feels amazing. I feel like I'm at the top. And I go, okay, so now do a recording.
For when
you're at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because nothing's linear. So right now, do a recording for your future self of when you're not in your highest, and tell her, hey, we're good. We were bad the other day, but it's okay. I'm really good right now. And you're going to be good. We're going to be good. Yeah. Just move through it.
That's an excellent tool. I have that too, similar. It's a map. It's a map. It's a map for you to guide yourself back to that higher plane when you're low. And nothing better than your own voice to say it.
Yeah. Literally. Okay, so then, beautiful. So we have the way that you relax is the guided meditation,
the journaling,
the book, the reading. And now, so we have release, relax, and restoring. And restoring is surrendering back into action. It's starting to, do the things, make the list. Like you've released that emotion in whatever way that you did. You've been able to relax, and now what is your method to kind of starting anew, like surrendering into the next action point, and in whatever way that looks like for you?
Right. So it depends on the day.
It depends on the day.
Right.
It depends
so if
on
I'm working, if I have clients,
exactly.
if my girls are coming, if I'm on vacation,
Exactly.
it all looks different.
It always, yes.
I'm going to choose one, like a regular work day that usually I start at 11.
Okay.
Because I need my time to release, relax, restore.
Girl.
Well, I have found that that's a priority.
It's
like,
a
if I don't do
priority.
that, my business doesn't go well.
No.
I don't make the same amount of money or income if I don't prioritize my spiritual practice. So that it occupies a lot of space, a lot of time. So I do the release, relax, and the restore. I love exercising.
Yes.
So like the action of feeling my body and inhabiting my physical space really helps. And I like running, I like walking, I do weight training, I like boot camp. I go walking barefoot, whatever I need, or just ground. Like I put my feet on the ground and just get like that connection to Mother Earth. It's like an umbilical cord. Like we say, it's so hippie, you hugging trees, you grounding. It is so transformational.
It's so transformational.
5 to 10 minutes with your feet on the ground, the eons and all the energetic like recharge and release, incredible. So I exercise, I eat a really balanced meal according to my metabolic type. I eat very bioavailable.
Can you explain that? Like, what is because I know that you know a lot what has to do with the metabolic types. And I think you even have a test.
I do.
Okay. If you want to go in a little bit on that.
Okay. I, in the training that I did 15 years ago to become this coach, part of my training was to connect to how we can keep our blood sugar balanced in our body.
Okay.
So the idea is that when our blood sugar is on a spike, high, or a crash, then our body suffers. It releases free radicals. Free radicals are like, let's say, como, not thunder. What is the other one? Lightning. It's like lightning inside your body.
Okay.
That starts oxidizing your arteries, damaging your organs, tissue. Like things start like
aging you.
It's aging you, and it's creating adaptations in your body that may look like disease, like what we call disease. So when we learn to balance the blood sugar, we give the body the stability to relax and to come out of the fight or flight response. So even if you're happy and you're okay and there's not a stress, if you're not eating according to your own blood sugar balance, let's say,
okay,
your body's going to be on fight or flight. So it's on the sympathetic system, which is the blood flow goes to the extremities. You cannot focus on anything new. You have to focus only on the familiar because you have like a tunnel vision because your body is in stress.
Of course.
And you're feeling jittery, or you're craving sugars or coffee or starches, or I'm fatigued, or I'm frequently urinating. Like those are symptoms of imbalance in your blood sugar.
Okay.
Even anxiety sometimes.
Yes.
And mood swings, all of that comes from
because when you start eating a lot of sugar, you have such anxiety.
A spike.
I quit sugar, and I didn't for God. I did it as like un ayuno, like a fasting, and I was like, I'm gonna release it for 10 days because I just want to ask for something. And so I did it, and then I tried coming back to sugar. The first time in my life that trying to coming back to sugar, the migraines. My body is now like, it doesn't want sugar. It wants, I can have honey, I can have fruit. Even agave gives me migraines, which is interesting.
Agave is not really great.
No.
It's like corn syrup.
It's like corn syrup.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. But wow. So in having the balance, you would say it would be like adding in like natural sugars to balance it?
Well, it's really, everybody's diet is individual, just like our fingerprints. There's no like all this keto, paleo, vegan, this. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. It's your own body. Your body's going to tell you. However, we're so disconnected from our bodies. How the heck are we going to know?
Yeah.
So it's a journey within. Part of it is, first of all, you need to understand that when you eat according to your own blood balancing space or type, you have to feel free of cravings, energized, mentally focused, clarity of thought, like I said, no cravings, and feeling like content, like satisfied with your meal. If you're sleepy, tired, yawning, if something is missing, I need something, me provoca un cafecito, I need a little coffee, that means that your meal was not enough for you to sustain. It wasn't satiating. So we have to be
My mom made like this potato babka. It's like a German like potato thing, layered thing. And she made it yesterday, and then me and my sister eat it, and then we look at each other and was like, I'm still hungry. And we had it was a big piece, and I was like, oh my god, okay,
just
potato with bacon, and that's it.
Okay, so that is not enough for me. I've discovered with my test that my metabolic type is fast. That means that maybe my intestines are shorter than other people that are. If you do okay with a vegetarian diet or more carbs, even vegetable carbs, usually your intestine is longer because your digestive process is slower.
Oh.
So it all makes sense. There's so many differences in our organs and our system and our processes.
The test, what does that look like? How do you test yourself without going to a doctor or something? What does that test
You can
look
do
like?
a test at the doctor, or you can do a test at home, which is the one that I provide my clients. And it's basically 3 meals that you plan and you cook yourself at home. And then you eat certain like combinations, right? Like animal fat, animal protein, carb from plants. And then like for lunch, it's like, let's say, mainly carbs and very little protein. And then at night, it's like 50-50, and there's a lot of guidance, right? Like with what to cook, what to eat that day, what to drink, how to cook it, what to prepare. And then basically you have a meal, and 2 hours later, you get to be your own guide. And you're going to be like, okay, how do I feel when the alarm goes off in 2 hours?
Okay.
And you're going to identify, how does it feel to have
and
my
it
blood
brings
sugar?
so much more awareness. People don't have any sense of awareness.
Nothing.
As to how they feel after they eat something. Or when someone was like, wow, you're really noticing that it's the sugar that's like giving you the headaches. And I'm like, absolutely.
But you would have not found out, sorry, if you have not stopped it.
Yeah.
For 10 days.
For 10 days. Because then you're in like a deeper sense of awareness. Okay, where can people find your test and buy it online? Can they, or how is that? Or is it just doing
the sessions? Yeah, it's part of my part of my program. Yes.
Okay.
The test is part of the coaching program.
I love that.
It is amazing. I mean, everybody's like, "What? I cannot believe it! Wow, it's mind blowing." And then that's it. Then once you figure out you're gonna eat like that every 4 to 5 hours, and it's done. Like, that's not a concern for me at all. Like, my body is in perfect state, my health, my blood work, like, everything is amazing.
Is that when you understand yourself, you understand your body, you understand what like brings you into different levels of yourself.
That's true sovereignty, when you really are an expert in yourself, in your
alchemist
biology, your emotions.
Of yourself.
An alchemist of yourself, yeah.
I love that. Okay, so so we have our release, we have our relax, and we have our restore. And I want to now, so at the end of my sessions, I like to always have the person before you give you a question that even I don't even know what the question is. So the beautiful man before us, Nikki wrote you a question. And
Wow. Okay.
I have not read this question. Okay. So
you're hiding it in there?
Yeah, I'm like, I'll just skip the page and I'll put it like, I'll go to the next one. And then after his question, you will write a question for the next person.
Okay.
So
it's fun.
I know. All right, Nick. What direction do you honestly feel like the earth and all of its inhabitants are moving towards? I will sit right to you that.
In terms of, like, in general, right? Like,
I feel like in general.
Okay.
Like, where do you think we're heading towards?
I think we're heading towards, we're in a new age, the Aquarian age, which is completely different. And what I feel intuitively and what I've noticed in myself is the manifestation rate is immediate. It's instant. What took me since the 15 years old to work on months and years, now is just immediate. It's immediate. I think we're moving towards this era that we are able to sense our energy more, connect telepathically. And I feel that it's going to be instant. Everything is going to be more connected. We're moving faster. Time is like speeding. We're closer to the sun too.
Already mid-year.
Right. Well, the earth is closer to the sun, so everything goes faster. So I really think we're heading into this rainbow era, like the Mayans predicted in the calendar, that we're going to be able to enter into a place of knowing, and being and sensing each other and recognizing ourselves in the other, and more love and more home.
More love.
That's what I feel.
And genuinely loving each other to the point where we just keep helping each other grow.
Right, and that means that it's going to get darker before the dawn. So we've been through a pandemic, we've been through crazy things, TikTok, all kinds of conspiracy theories that we don't need to get into. And I think it's because everything is going to be so more available emotionally, spiritually. There's so much freedom now. Like, everybody knows and gets.
Well, that's why they wanted to also shut down TikTok, because it was too hard to control. And it was, we're all expanding so quick,
We're
and
expanding.
the knowledge is so there. Like my TikTok, you would go on my TikTok and be like, oh my god, like how do you not learn every single day? This thing is like all about consciousness and understandings and things, and then it's like cooking, but then it's yeah, how could you not learn?
I know, my daughters learn everything TikTok. Ma, I need to buy this product. I'm like, okay, TikTok, thank you.
TikTok, okay, we're spending money more. That's fine. Let's do this.
And it's good to have time a day for TikTok. I assign like an hour for social media. That's it.
That's it.
If not,
but knowing that like it's an hour, it's hard.
It is hard. Even with the chats on the phone, all of that, it's distracting, it's numbing, and it's away from you, from your inner journey. So it takes discipline to really connect. And I think as we expand into the new direction that I sense is coming, more time inwards is called. Like, because if not, people are going to lose it with anxiety. They're not going to be able to manage it.
Well, we have now Saturn in Pisces. And that's a whole nother topic. That's like Saturn is rules everything that is like tierra, it's earth, it's here, it's structure, it's responsibilities, and then you have this like dreamy going into the Astros, Pisces, just thinking about all the dreams and all the things, and it's like Saturn's like, oh great, now we have to bring Pisces down to the ground, but that's like basically saying like bringing heaven down to earth in a sense.
And you are the bridge for
and
that.
You are the bridge.
Humans are the bridge.
And this is the next 2.5 years is I don't care if you're spiritual or not. You're gonna have to do the work because there's no other way around it. It's the energy that's here, and that it's the spirituality that's touching ground. And you know, whoever was listening and whoever was here was present. I really hope that you were able to take what you could from this and expand it and listened and remember that there's other ways to navigate your journey and not numbing all the time, you know? So thank you. Thank you for your knowledge and your beautiful energy. Thank you. And is there anything that Dani has coming up next? Anything that you would like to talk about, promote, anything that's, or you can, whatever there is?
Yes, actually I do. I have a group program that's going to start in September.
Okay.
And it's called Being the Alchemist.
Okay.
And it's a 3-month program.
Amazing.
In which I guide women only.
Okay.
To go within and learn all these tools. It's like a very small container, like a coaching group container.
Okay.
So that you can have all these tools to become your own guide and your own alchemist.
Wow. I love that. And that starts September,
I think 6. But it's on my website. I'll share it. You share it.
Yes.
Do we say it or do you?
No, you say it.
Okay.
Well,
it's kind of long.
They can they can find you. Is it linked in your Instagram? Mm-hmm. Okay, you can find her website and everything linked to her Instagram, The Joy Alchemist.
That's it. That's easy. At The Joy Alchemist.
At The Joy Alchemist. And if you have any questions, anything that she said, anything that came up, please connect with her. She is so beautiful, and she will definitely be like, yes, here, hi, how can I serve you? What do you need? Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
for being so beautiful.
Oh, I love you.
Too.
So, lastly,
the question.
Now you get to write a fun question for someone. And we'll finish it there. Thank you all for tuning in, for being, for existing, for releasing, relaxing, restoring.